Welcome to Jamaican ginger sticky toffee cake, the do-over. The reason it's a do-over is because I completely misframed it, didn't I? But it's fine because it was a delicious cake. So that's okay because I don't mind doing it again. Yes! This recipe came about in the first place because I love Jamaican ginger cake and I love sticky toffee cake. Both typically aren't vegan, so I set about trying to veganise them and it worked really well. Just a shame about the framing really. I found this in the supermarket recently. So it's vegan condensed milk. And I thought maybe that would be really nice to serve with it, like a Dulce de Leche, instead of making a kind of toffee sauce. And I'm going to do it in the Instant Pot. I'm going to put this in 15 minutes. I'm going to have to do it later because it needs to be left overnight in the water because a change in pressure can make the can explode. And I do need to use the Instant Pot. To start with, I'm going to do the kind of sugary wet ingredients. And I'm using 100 grams of treacle or molasses. Oh no. I'm adding 120 mils of sunflower oil. I'm using sunflower because it's nice and cheap, but you can definitely use coconut, any type you want really. I'd avoid using extra virgin olive oil because that's seriously expensive for something that's just not necessary really. 75 grams of golden syrup. And then 75 grams of dark brown soft sugar. You could use muscovado as well, that's fine. I've only got 55 grams of that one, so I'm using 20 grams of golden caster sugar. Put that on the hob and start it warming through. Putting this over a medium heat, mine's on 6, goes up to 9. You just want quite a gentle heat to start heating it up. $150 grams of plain flour. The sun's reflecting on my neighbour's window and I can't see very well. Sift that in. I'm adding glutinous rice flour. Last time I did 50. I'm thinking I might do a bit more, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll do 75 grams. I'm putting this in to give it a nice bit of chewiness. So I've heard people do it in brownies to get a really nice fudgy kind of texture. I think that could work quite nicely. I'm adding 100 grams of ground walnuts. You can use any type of nuts at all. It's just to give a nice moist kind of texture to the cake. And 125 grams of polenta. And again, this gives a really nice texture and sort of chewy, moist, lovely, nice finish. Half a teaspoon of salt. Give the mixture a stir. I'll start preheating the oven at this point and I want it at 160 degrees C. I'm adding 100 grams of chopped cashews. You don't have to use those at all, or you can replace them with any other kind of nut. Hazelnuts would be good. Pecans would be very good. I've got 8 dates, pitted and chopped finely. Teaspoon of ground ginger. I'm using 4 pieces of stem ginger, the kind that comes in syrup. If I can get any of that in shot for you. That's the kind you need. Give this a mix up to combine it. You still need to add some rising agents, but I'm going to do that sort of towards the end of it really, because otherwise they start activating. So mix it together and make sure that there's no massive clumps, especially of the dates and the ginger. Giving the sugar and oil mix a stir, and you want to make sure it needs to be at the point where there's no graininess. I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of malt extract. Use that kind. It's a lovely, see it, really lovely malty, rich, deep flavour like Maltesers or Ovaltine. I'm going to grate in about a tablespoon of 100% cacao. This is just to boost that depth of flavour. You could use cocoa powder. I'd probably just do a teaspoon though, otherwise it might be a bit too intensely chocolatey. 120 grams of vanilla flavoured soy yoghurt. You can use any kind of yoghurt you like. This really helps give a nice moist kind of texture and consistency to cake. 120 mils of soy milk. And then pour the yoghurt and soy into the sugar mixture. Yeah, it's probably an idea to whisk the milk and yoghurt together. Should have done that, but I didn't. It's okay. I'm going to add a scant teaspoon, so just less than a teaspoon of coffee granules. Again, that's just to boost up the dark, rich flavours. I'm hoping that the water content in the yoghurt and milk will help dissolve that, so I'm too lazy to grind it. I'll now add 2 teaspoons of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. It just gives it a load of extra lift because it's quite a heavy, dense cake. And then work that together. But baking powder doesn't really like salt, that's why I've left it till the last minute. And then make a little hole in the middle, a little well, and start pouring in the sugar mixture. Just make sure there's no big streaks of powder or anything like that, any dry clumps. I've got a 6-inch cake tin. I've lined it with foil and then oiled the foil to stop sticking. I did try and do it with baking paper, but today is a clumsy day and it just didn't go right and I lost my temper a little bit. Foil it is. I don't know if this is going to change anything. We'll find out, I suppose. Pour this in. I'm going to put this in the oven, probably for an hour. I think the treacle, if I remember rightly from last time, the treacle just makes it, the cooking time a lot longer. But I needed to get to an internal temperature of 210 Fahrenheit when I probe it, so we'll give that a go. So I'll see you in an hour. The cake's been in for 60 minutes, so, well, maybe 63 by now, so I'll have a little look. And I've just developed hiccups, so we'll try and get through this. I'm going to stick the probe in, see what temperature we're at. Temperature's just under 190 Fahrenheit. The temperature is just under 190 Fahrenheit, so I'm going to put it back in for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And I'm going to put some foil over that, just because it's getting quite dark in places. See you in 10. So the cake had an extra 10 minutes. Let's have another little check, another little probe. 10 more minutes and then it should be about done. So this has had another 10 minutes, so 80 altogether. 208. I'm fine with that. Yeah. Yum. So I just need to let this completely cool down now before tucking in. And wait for the Dulce de Leche. Apologies for mispronouncing that. I'm sure someone will correct me. You always do. I decided to try and make a Nutella kind of thing out of sweet potatoes. And they're now done from the Instant Pot, which means I can put the condensed milk in. So let's head on over to the pot. I've taken the label off. I'm going to put it in the Instant Pot on a trivet and then submerge the lot in water. So I think that's to help equalise the pressure that's inside the can. That's on for 15 minutes at high pressure. I hope that's okay. We'll find out, I suppose. And then I need to leave it overnight and then open that can and see what's inside. Exciting. Nerve-wracking also. I just don't want an exploded vat of condensed milk. We'll find out. It's time to open the Instant Pot and see what's inside. So it's been resting around 20, 22 hours, something like that. Just left it overnight, resisted the temptation to have a peek. So we're going to do it in real time. You can watch with me. Let's go. Moment of truth. Well, it's intact at least. There's a line of, I think that's just rust. So let's crack it open and have a little look. Ooh, it worked. I say it's worked, I'm assuming it has. I just don't know what colour this is normally. I think it's lighter though. If I was going to do it again, I'd go maybe half an hour. I think it could benefit from being a bit darker. Let's have a little try. I'm going to have a big slab of cake later for dessert. And I think I might make a little sauce with a touch of plain yoghurt in there, maybe vanilla yoghurt, just to knock that sweetness down, because it is very sugary. And I think that's going to be delicious. So now I have to impatiently wait for dinner time. It's dessert time. Yes! Finally, I'm so in the mood for this. So I've got my steamer set up, just a pan of water with a steamer basket at the top. So I'm going to pop it in there for 5-10 minutes and let it get all moist and gooey and delicious. That's how it's looking inside. So I'm going to pop it on a square of paper and then into the basket. Oh, that was a mistake with the lid. I kept looking at it and thinking something's not right with that. And I'll do the sauce in the meantime. For the sauce, I'm just going to warm up some vanilla soy yogurt. And it's about, well, it makes no difference on measurements at this point. A couple of spoonfuls. I'll now add a couple of tablespoons of the Dulce de Leche. Time to plate up. I'm going to top that off with a little restaurant trick. Quenelle. Take a spoon and another spoon. Ah! I mean, doesn't that look delicious? I'm going in. Perfect. Really, really delicious. And really nice and moist, so it's not dry. You could happily eat that cake dry as well without steaming it first, not a problem. So much flavour and texture going on with the nuts. Warmth from the ginger. It's delicious. For more veganised and hybridised twists on the classics, hit subscribe, tap the bell icon, and perhaps have a look at these.